Matt Miller, proud Superintendent of Lakota Schools. If I haven't met you here, welcome. Thank you to East High School for hosting tonight on what is a very, very busy and gorgeous night. So we really appreciate all of you being here. I don't want to forget anybody, but I do want to make a special mention that we thank two of our student groups tonight for performing. So we had Liberty Junior Jazz Band that was here. And we had the West High School Vocal Choral Group here as well. And I knew tonight was going to be a great event for our kids and our teachers and our staff to showcase what we were doing. And it was just amazing to see how many people came out tonight on a night that's very busy for everybody else, and just to see how proud our kids were to show off their work. So I appreciate all the work from our students that went into that, but also our teachers, our principal, and staff, just to showcase all the great things that we have going on in Lakota. So thank you, students, for giving up your night tonight. Really appreciate that, and to our staff and teachers for really knocking it out of the park. Someone just a few minutes ago said, "Are you nervous about getting up on stage and talking?" No, I love telling the story about Lakota and what our kids are doing, and just that alone, the showcase alone tonight made the night. You're going to hear from some of our staff members and from some of our students as well, and they tell the story much better than I do. So it's great to see the things that we're going to talk about tonight here before the show started, and also you're in for a treat at the very end. There is a very powerful moving video that our staff and some of our students participated in. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So without further ado, let me set the stage about the state of the schools here at Lakota. One of the most recent things that the Board of Education approved is our new strategic plan. And in that strategic plan, we talk about what do we believe in? What is our mission? And you can see that behind me. And our mission is everything we do. And we, for those of you that maybe don't have kids or aren't working in the district, we is always capitalized for West and East. So everything we do is designed to provide a future-ready, student-centered learning experience for every single child. So when we talk about Lakota, one of the things that outsiders always want to talk about is how big of a district we are. And oh my gosh, that district is so big. I see that as an advantage and a plus. We can do a lot of things for our kids. Sure, we have a lot of kids with a lot of needs and a lot of wants and desires, but we also have the staff to back that up, that help lead our kids to that next step, and that's what we're trying to do. So when we talk about every single child, we really mean every single child. There are lots of stories that you probably heard coming in and looking at the showcase that are going on right now that our kids are excited about. I'm going way off script early on, which is probably scaring some of my team. But I was so impressed with some of the things that the junior high kids were doing with the 3D printing. They built, and I'm not going to say it right, so someone's going to have to clean this up later, but they built like a home speaker that, kind of like Alexa or whoever, but they 3D printed it and then put the speaker underneath. It was amazing. So it's things like that you don't think about, that we're trying to give our kids experience and exposure to do the things that they want. The other piece of the strategic plan is our vision. And you see again that the we is capitalized for West and East because all of our kids are going to end up there. But we talk about, and we really back it up with being personalized, being future ready, being fiscally responsible, which is huge for us and for our community, and that we are in this together. And a lot of the people that are in this room certainly either go to school here or work here, but I've noticed a lot of community members, business leaders, and others, senior citizens, that are here tonight to see what's going on at Lakota. So I appreciate every one of you being here. When we talk about personalized learning, one of the things that we focus on and should focus on is the personalized part, and that's building relationships. And so it's not just about getting kids the diploma, starting at kindergarten, going through 12th grade, giving the diploma and seeing you. It's building relationships and connections to our kids and to each other. One of the best things that we did as a school district this year was the first 2 days of school. We started on a Thursday and Friday, and collectively worked in our buildings with building that relationship piece out. So setting the culture, setting the tone for the building, and then we can worry about taking care of the academics after that. So it was a great start. I really applaud our staff for making that happen, and I'm looking forward to that happening again in the coming years. Also, when we talk about being personalized, sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit, so to speak, about where we were and where we've come from, and what else do we need to do? What do we need to do next? What's coming next? And so last year, we spent a lot of time in grades K through 6 talking about what that experience looks like for our youngest learners. We made a lot of changes. One of the biggest changes we made as a district, going back to a no-lottery kindergarten system, because we see the value in early literacy. We see the value in getting those kids in as soon as we can to help build that foundation. Kindergarten is the hardest thing to teach. Sorry for your high school teachers. But kindergarten really is the hardest thing to teach. And we want to lay that foundation down now so that we can set our kids on the right path and set that base. We also, in the K to 6 realm, listen to our community and to our teachers about what our kids need. And one of the biggest things that came back through those conversations were specials for our kids. So what else besides the curriculum and sort of the set standards that come out of Columbus or out of Washington, D.C.? So we brought back more of a robust schedule for our kids involving gym, art, music, technology, and then we split out STEAM, Wonder Lab, and health and wellness. So it's not perfect, and we're evolving, and we're never going to get to a point where everything is right where it should be, but that was our next best step. So we're taking a look at that now. How does that evolve for our kids and for our community? The junior schools have been really spinning, and I say that in a very positive light. Our junior schools have been our pilots for our one-to-one and a lot of the tech initiatives, because we wanted that group to sort of spearhead where we were going and how we were going to work in the digital age and give some tools to our kids. And so we really wanted to use our junior schools as sort of that test pilot, not haphazardly, but really that's where we were going to focus on with the supports for our teachers and the supports for our kids. We did bring in two new electives for our students, and you're going to hear about that in just a second. One of those electives is digital innovation, where kids are solving design problems. These are 7th and 8th graders, solving design problems through project-based learning. Much different from what it was when I was in junior high, and probably many of you in the audience as well. So the kids are learning skills that they can use to be creative in their problem solving, and also things that companies, businesses, and colleges are seeing from the outside. So we're trying to give our kids in Lakota a leg up. The other elective was media design and communications, and that's what we're going to hear about now. So students are learning about communication through the use of different media tools. And I have 2 representatives from the district that are going to talk about that now. If Mariah Walker can come on up. Mariah is our Liberty Junior School teacher, and her student is Emily Fuller, who's a 7th grade student. Mariah and Emily.
Thank you. Okay. This year I have been very fortunate, like you said, to teach a new elective called Media Design and Communication. Those of us in education know that the expectations on our graduates are changing, and our students have to grow and change with them. In the next few years, computers will be able to write their own code with minimal human interaction. The things that won't change, however, are the needs for interpersonal communication, empathy, and critical thinking. These so-called soft skills are essential in regards to 21st century career readiness. Like he was saying, 2 of the pillars of our new strategic plan are that we are personalized and that we are future ready. To me, media design and communication hits all of these points. Students are learning how to be safe online, market themselves with materials that they create on their own, communicate with others, including community members and business owners, use social media as a promotional tool, and create professional websites. In October, students from Media Design and Communication took time outside of class to plan and lead the first ever junior high-led Lakota Ed Chat. They were blown away by the reach and amount of community participation. if you missed the first one or loved the first one, we are hosting another one on March 27th at 8 p.m. And we're talking about We Are Personalized. While creating all of these amazing digital works, they're also learning skills to interact with each other as well as adults. They work on giving and receiving constructive feedback and how to effectively work around issues. An individual that possesses these types of skills is the person that I would be looking to hire. Speaking of hiring, if you stopped by our table beforehand, you might have run into Maddie Henderson, who during her passion project created a profitable subscription service to help people with anxiety and ADHD. Another student created an outreach program to benefit Reach Out Lakota during her passion project, and it's my pleasure to introduce Emily Fuller.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker, and hello. As she said, my name is Emily Fuller, and I am a 7th grade student at Liberty Junior School. Last semester, I had the absolute pleasure of being a part of media design communications. It helped me excel at many things, including learning how to create a presentation that can be pitched to formal businesses and learning all about online safety and etiquette. One of my favorite parts of the class was creating a documentary to help a certain aspect of life. My topic was all about helping the community and keeping the earth clean. So mine was called Going Zero Waste. And zero waste is where you throw nothing away and you use everything. But even though we had such a great time interviewing people from waste management who are recycling experts, it wasn't the best part of the class. The best part of the class was seeing all of the doors that we didn't even realize existed that were open to us. And behind one of those doors was something called a passion project. A passion project is where you create something that will improve an aspect of life. My passion project was all about helping other people. Therefore, I created a nonprofit organization called Project HOP, more commonly known as Project HOP. Project HOP means helping other people. And I did just that with the support of Mrs. Walker and the Kindness Club at my school. Together, we created a clothing drive that collected nearly 2,000 pieces of clothing that are all going to be donated to Reach Out Lakota, which is our local donation center. This, we hope, will become a tradition at Liberty Junior School, not just clothing drives, but to create different things that will help benefit our community. Even after I leave Liberty Junior School, I know that the class will continue to inspire young minds to not only walk through the doors that this class is open to us, but to push through the barriers that lie beneath them. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your night.
It's almost a mic drop moment. When we talk, too, about being personalized, we talk about how does that look like for our high schools. And we have 2 awesome high schools, 4 if you include our freshman buildings, 5 if you include Craig, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But we have, at Lakota, we have 36 advanced placement courses and honor course options for our students. One of the new exciting courses that we're offering for our kids that we are piloting now and rolling out next year is the Lakota Cyber Academy. It came up through a couple conversations and connections talking about where are the jobs at right now, where's the field at that we can help our kids get employment right after high school, or if they want to go to college, right after college. So we talked to a group, the global company called Belcan, and Belcan is working with us to build the curriculum out for cybersecurity for our kids. So we have kids that are piloting that out now. The cybersecurity field right now has 1 million job openings, 3 million in about 3 years. So we see a niche for our kids that those that are interested in computer sciences and or cybersecurity can take a look at, get some coursework, get credits while they're in high school, and while they're in high school, right when they graduate, they'll be able to get government clearance and a job right when they graduate east or west. So we're excited about offering that for our kids. The pilot, again, is happening now, and we're launching full go in the fall. The other piece to that, and the cybersecurity piece is just one small piece, but really what we're trying to do is to create more opportunities for our kids through what we call real-world learning. And real-world learning is a lot different from when I went to high school, and probably those of you my age or thereabouts, how much different it is now versus then. Before, when I was in high school, it was about getting the diploma, going to college, trying to find a job. Now it's so much different for our kids. It's so competitive, and we want to give our kids a leg up. We want every graduating Lakota student to have an experience through the opportunity for an internship. That's 1,300 internships a year, but we are dedicated to finding those internships for our kids. We know it's not all going to happen at once. We know that it's a slow build. But we hired somebody, Katie Bauer, on staff, who I love because she's a Lakota grad. She knows what it's like, and she's coming from the business world to help us make those internships possible by reaching out to community members, community groups, and different businesses for our kids. So we're trying to leverage her expertise for opportunities for our kids. We're also part of a group called the League of Innovative Schools. We're one of about 100 schools across the country that are working on this real-world problem for our students. And Lakota is one of 2 districts in the country that's taking the lead on what's called the Real World Learning Challenge Collaborative. You're going to hear more about it in the fall, but essentially it's going to be a worldwide platform for our kids to talk to businesses and community places where they'll have internships, but also it's almost like a LinkedIn program for our kids that they'll be able to connect what they want to do and what they want to get into and what jobs are open with what they're doing here in school. So we're really excited to be a part of that and to roll that out. And we have teachers that are helping the league build it and talk about what does that look like. How can we set things up like field trips, whether it's in person or virtually? How can we create the internships? How can we make those connections for our kids? It's sort of that out-of-the-box thinking. It's not just about a diploma. It's about what comes next. We're also working very hard with our partners at Butler Tech. We have about 4,000 students involved in Butler Tech programming, and we know that that's a lot, but in some cases, in some fields, they're being closed out because it's too full. So we have to talk about, as a school district, what opportunities should we be replicating or doing differently? And that cybersecurity program is just one example of that. I'm now going to introduce a student to talk about our Career Readiness Academy, I think. Ju? Okay. So we're going to punt. Sometimes our kids get wrapped up in so many things, and things happen and change. So we had a student that from the Career Readiness Academy that was going to talk about her experience in Project Chaos. So she's been delayed a little bit, so she might come a little bit later. But in the meantime, we're going to have our CRE director, Nicole Isaacs, talk about what Project Chaos was. And you talked here last year, right? So this should be easy for you, right? So Nicole Isaacs, come on up and talk about Project Chaos for us.
As good a job as Amber was going to do. Project Chaos was an awesome opportunity for Career Readiness Academy students to get some real-world learning experience. We were a part of a cohort of several different districts, and I think Amber's running up here right now. I apologize. I am so thankful because she's going to do an amazing. Everybody give Amber a hand.
Don't run.
You're good.
Perfect time. You're good. Perfect timing.
Hi, everybody.
This is Amber Spock.
Yeah. As you can see, my time management skills are just great and amazing. So my name's Amber Spock. I'm a junior at the Lakota Career Readiness Academy, and I'll be talking about Project Chaos. So it was a great event. It was a 3-day whole process, and it involved selecting students from school districts Lakota, Loveland, Middletown, and Butler Tech. So the goal of this project, or their mission statement, was how do we make transportation available to everyone in order to be gainfully employed? So they put us in a real-world mindset and really opened our eyes to what needed to be done. We were split into teams based on the color shirt we were wearing, and we had to assign ourselves positions in our group. So I was the spokesperson for our group, and my fellow classmate, Alina Koenig, was the taskmaster.
She was the only other person in my group that was from CRA. There were many speakers brought in to talk about real-world situations and experiences and statistics about transportation. So it was amazing to see everyone I go to school with every day, from very shy kids to very open and extroverted kids that would just bloom, and they really just were amazing in this atmosphere. The environment was built from just the first step in the door, that it was welcoming and warm. All the leaders that were there made it clear that the project was just for ideas, for innovation. Any idea was a great idea. There was nothing that was too outlandish or too expensive. Everything was supposed to be welcomed, and it was amazing, and I thrived in this, and so did many other students. So there were days of brainstorming for ideas where we made huge poster boards, like very tall. They were like really cool. And we had to just put all our thoughts and ideas out on these things, and it really explored problem-solving skills, because there were disagreements and we all had to agree on something that we would like to work on as a team. So our group was especially concerned for the medical issues involved with transportation. One of the speakers gave us statistics about how many children die a year because they have a lack of transportation. And they could have been saved if they had transportation to hospitals or doctors for checkups, vaccinations, etc. This struck a chord with me specifically. In my family, my dad barely brings in enough money each paycheck for gas and food on top of medical bills and lots of debt. We often wonder if we'll have enough to make it to the next payday, even with overtime and details that he works. My oldest brother, Travis, has autism. My sister, Ashley, has Down syndrome. My brother, Ethan, has a chronic vestibular vertigo issue that causes him to stumble and be constantly dizzy. And more days than most, he has to stay in bed because he can't get up. I have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it affects my entire body, and I'm in pain a lot of times for no reason. So my mom has fibromyalgia, which causes constant fatigue, and my dad has high blood pressure because one of his kidneys died the winter of my freshman year. We're all affected, as you can see, by serious medical issues. I couldn't imagine where we would be if we couldn't find a way to get to the hospital on a regular basis for mine and my siblings' therapies. We would be in a world of hurt. But fortunately, we do make it due to our access to transportation. As you can imagine, when provided an opportunity to bring awareness to those unimaginable situations, to those who have to choose between food and gas to live or die, just struggling to make it to work or school, I was ecstatic. I thought it was amazing to be able to bring awareness to this. This opportunity was incredible for so many reasons. It was a collaborative effort through the minds of our students, voicing the next generation's ideas and giving us a platform to speak our minds in a positive and uplifting way. Thanks for having me, and I really enjoyed talking about this. Thank you.
She did talk that it was Project Chaos, right? So when you're like a minute late, you're running into something. You did a great job, Amber. Thank you. The other thing that I'd like to say, to pick up on what Amber was talking about, I love how it's kids from East and West, but I also like how it's kids from other districts too. So it's that networking that our kids are doing with other places. So thank you for sharing your story. That was really good. Another big piece and component of our strategic plan is talking about when we're personalized, but also looking at school safety and security. And we talk about that not when something happens bad across the country or something that happens bad locally, but we make that a priority in our district all the time. We talk about different things that could happen to our kids, to our staff, and we're trying to build things out, and it's an evolution. Again, this is one of the, safety and security is one of those things that's never going to be finished or done, or we're going to feel like we've ever done enough. But we're working as a safety committee. We have great partnerships with our local police and sheriff's office, but also our fire departments and also EMA. We actually have a meeting tomorrow or Friday with, we're hosting a statewide safety and security summit here at East with the Coach Hall Foundation. So we're glad to be hosting that and talking about things. We have speakers coming that were impacted by the shooting in Chardon and also at Sandy Hook. And so we have some dynamic speakers going to talk about lessons learned. And so we're trying to do more things to be proactive instead of reactive, like many places sometimes tend to be. Another key change that we made as a district, and if you're a visitor to the building and you come in during a school day, hopefully you've seen the Raptor check. So when people come in, we run them through a quick background check at every one of our buildings. That's something that we just tried to make consistent K-12, and it always hadn't been that way, but we're seeing positive results in that already. The other big piece that I think has really helped our community, our kids, and our staff is the additional SROs that we added to our buildings. So now Lakota has one school resource officer at every single campus. And so that helps our kids not just to stay safe, it does, but it's also a key component of building relationships with the law enforcement community and our kids and staff. Another big piece that we probably didn't talk enough about is the additional security cameras. So we added a lot. I'm not going to get into details, but we added a lot of new security cameras here at East and at West, and that's going to trickle down to our other buildings as well. Another piece that goes into safety and security, and it's huge for all of our kids and for all of our teachers and staff, is mental health. And that's one of the things that we've been really listening to our students talk to us about. We have key partnerships with MindPeace now that help bring in more counselors into our schools. We have MindPeace in 12 of our schools now, and that's going to continue to grow. Another big piece of mental health that I hope you've heard about, if not you're going to in just a minute, is something called Hope Squads. And Hope Squads is through a partnership with a foundation called Grant Us Hope. It's peer-to-peer suicide prevention at both of our high schools right now and our freshman buildings, and we're working to bring that down to our junior schools. So I'd like to introduce at this time Amitaj Carr, who's a senior at Lakota West, and Alyssa Longworth, who's a senior at Lakota East, to speak about Hope Squad.
I'm a little short, sorry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amitaj Carr, and I'm a very proud senior at Lakota West High School. I am joined by the wonderful Alyssa Longworth, a leader at Lakota East High School. And however, this isn't about us. This is about the work we do through Hope Squad. So let's start with a statistic. Suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst teenagers in the state of Ohio. Let that sink in. The second leading cause of death amongst teenagers in Ohio. What are we doing to solve this? Well, Hope Squad is the first step. Hope Squad is all about suicide prevention in schools, and it's all about making sure we can change a school culture and make mental illnesses more visible and more acceptable in our society. As Hope Squad members, we are trained in QPR, question, persuade, and refer. Mind you, we are not emergency specialists, nor does anyone expect us to be emergency specialists. As Hope Squad members, my job is to be the eyes and the ears of the school, which I can assure you students already are, except I'm just trained to know what to do in an emergency situation, whether that's walking a friend down to the counselor's office so they can tell their counselors what's going on, whether that's telling someone they look great today because they're looking a little off, checking up on someone after class because I noticed they were upset when we got our math test back, telling a teacher that I'm worried about someone in the class but I don't have a personal connection with them. Hope Squad is all about personalized talking to people. And the best part about Hope Squad is that we both are peer-nominated leaders. At the beginning of my junior year, we were all asked to nominate 3 people we were comfortable speaking to and sharing our problems with. All Hope Squad members go through that. Then they go through reading through the counselors, and then after that, the principals have a look to make sure these Hope Squad members are representing the school properly. Hope Squad members' jobs are, as I mentioned, to prevent suicide, to make sure that mental health is visible. And though this sounds great, through words, another statistic, Throughout the past school year, 25% of referrals to a counselor have been by a Hope Squad member. It's amazing work, and this is only our first year. However, we've surely done a lot more, and Alyssa's going to tell you all about what we've been doing within our schools through Hope Squad.
I am a little bit taller, so I'm going to raise it up a little bit. Hello, everybody. I'm going to take this opportunity right now to mention I am not related to Mr. Miller in any way. A lot of people seem to think that because we have red hair, but I can tell you that is not true. Anyways, I'm here to talk about the impact Hope Squads have been making in the Lakota School District. Lakota Hope Squads often go by the mantra, small, doable solutions. What is a small, doable solution? That's simple. It's passing out mints before an air test to all the kids who are nervous. It's writing positive words of kindness with sidewalk chalk. That way when students look into the ground, see positivity as they walk into their first day of school. How have we been impacting the school building is also huge. Both East and West both had a night to where we hosted a volleyball game. There we hosted a whipped cream challenge where we had both superintendents participate in. I won't mention which one won, but one of them definitely left in style. Hope Squads have been impacting the students as well. Amatosh and I came up with a number of around 40 to 50 referrals have been made. 40 to 50 lives have possibly been saved thanks to Hope Squad. That is amazing. And I'm so thankful that we have this resource to look into and keep incorporating throughout every single school year. Another impact that I want to mention is my own. Ask me freshman year to stand in front of all of you guys and to have a passion about something, and I'll tell you there's no way. I've been impacted by suicide. I lost my uncle due to it, and I almost lost my best friend. I don't want anyone else to go through what I've been through, or my family, or my school district, or anyone in the world. All it takes is one small, doable solution. Be the person to give a high five. Be the person to give a fist bump, hug, put down a phone, have a real conversation face to face, or pick one up and send a friendly text to somebody. Ask them how they're doing. Small, doable solutions. Thank you for your time, and please continue spreading hope.
Thank you. Good job. Wow. One of the other big pieces that we're working on is an initiative called We Are Empowered. So when we talk about the rollout of devices to our kids, we're very intentional about not just getting Chromebooks or laptops and handing them to our kids and say, here you go, we're now a one-to-one school district. We had an awesome team. Most of that team is here in the audience tonight that helped us roll out 6,000 devices to our students not because, again, we didn't want to give them something just as a shiny toy or to replace a teacher. It's not about that at all. It's about building really good instruction and using the tools that adults use every single day. So our kids are getting exposure and using devices and able to collaborate and share using different digital platforms with their kids. Again, it's not about the device. It's about using a Chromebook or a laptop or another device as a learning tool. And so I am so impressed with how that was rolled out by the tech team, by all of our instructional coaches and the staff. It could not have gone better, so I appreciate the staff getting that done. But we want to give our kids the exposure and skills that they really need to succeed and give our kids a leg up in this digital age. I'm amazed at, and I'm hoping that you saw it when you were coming here tonight, how many awesome projects and things our kids are involved with that are really young and little. The elementary kids, the junior high kids, the high school kids, but I see some of these amazing things happening, and you're hearing from some of our best students, but we have 16,500 more that are doing the same thing right now. It's amazing everything that our kids are doing every single day because they have caring adults and parents that are really pushing them to do things outside of the box. We're also repurposing new learning spaces in our school, so we're making that change as well. You can see a little bit out here to your right, my left, just repurposing spaces where kids want to be, where they want to congregate. Our innovation hubs and 8 of our secondary buildings have also been repurposed. Another really cool initiative that we started is something called Lakota Next. Last year, our focus was really K-8 heavy, and I alluded to that a little bit before. But last spring, we started looking at our high schools, and how do we reimagine that high school learning experience? I don't have it in my presentation, but there is this horrific graph, that's the only way I can describe it, of how students are engaged in the school process at a young age, and by junior high and high school, that engagement drops off. Our kids, not just at Lakota, but nationwide, are checking out. And so we're trying to re-engage our kids, listen to student voice, listen to teacher voice about what we can do. School is so much different, and the job market is so much different than what it was 20, 50, or even 10 years ago. So Lakota Next was really embracing and sort of walking the walk of what we say all the time about student voice and teacher voice. Our teachers are the experts. It's certainly not the superintendent, and it's not even our building principals. Our teachers know our kids best. So we had 30 of our teachers, 20 of our students, one of our school board members in a room to collaborate and talk about what high school could look like or what high school should look like. So right now I'd like to introduce from Lakota East, Kevin Keene, who's a teacher here at Lakota East, and he's going to talk about Lakota Next. Kevin? Thank you.
Good evening. In my 15 years of teaching, I've seen a number of changes in our approach to education. Having a voice like I do in Lakota has been motivating and appreciated. It has been energizing to be encouraged to do what works, but also being pushed to try new things. One such experience has been as a team member on Lakota Next, a visionary and unconventional group focused on our future. I have found inspiration by being part of a collaborative network involving teachers and students from East and West, district leaders, administrators, and board members. In November, Lakota Next was encouraged to participate in a design challenge to dream about what Lakota schools can be. We were challenged to start the process of designing a school of the future. The design process was organic. We met a number of times to brainstorm, reflect, sketch, and redesign what our day looks like. We left preconceived notions of what schools should be and focused on what Lakota will be. Along the way, we celebrated the great things happening every day in our schools, while leaning into the difficult conversations regarding change, as change is never easy. Throughout the process, it was clear that all involved wanted to create something that worked best for our students, to give them more options in their day, to provide new and exciting opportunities, and to make sure that real-world learning was a part of each student's high school experience, creating a high school experience that is truly student-centered. The students who joined were amazing. Their want to improve their schools was evident. A few days later, after the Lakota Next meetings, I spoke with one of my students who also attended the meetings. When I asked what they thought, they immediately said how great it was to be with such a diverse group that was working for real change. They felt grateful that their voice was being heard and that they had a seat at the table. Not only did these students have a seat at the table, but in many cases, they were leading the discussions. Their ideas were innovative and unique. It was really cool to see them not only leading the process in small groups, but presenting our vision to the whole committee and district leaders. To say the students at the meetings were impressive is an understatement. I believe a classroom should be a collaborative workspace. Working with a group of students and teachers during our Lakota Next meetings was a great opportunity to collaborate in a new and meaningful way. Professionally, being a member of Lakota Next, and specifically the design challenge, was fulfilling and has confirmed this need to collaborate in new ways. As a parent in the district, knowing that my first grader and her younger sister will continue to have opportunities to learn in an environment that is student-centered and where their voices are valued is awesome. Lakota Next continues to be a work in progress. We may not know exactly what our school of the future will be, but the groundwork has been laid and the momentum is undeniable. I'm ready to continue to do the work and excited to see what my next 15 years in teaching will bring. Excited to see all the ways that Lakota will continue to evolve in ways that best meet the needs of our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin. One of the other things that I'm hoping you heard about tonight is our innovative learning spaces, and I touched on that just a second ago. But we have new Wonder Labs at our earlier childhood buildings, in our elementary buildings, and STEAM labs in every one of our buildings. We have pockets of innovation going on. We try to replicate that in all of our buildings, but we have some buildings that are taking the initiative to try something new, and we want to embrace that. We also have media centers that have been turned into innovation hubs, one of which is right behind me, at our junior and our high schools. We have green screens, which our kids are embracing and doing so much with. There were some kids from West and East in the American Sign Language classes that were communicating back and forth here in our showcase, but they also talk back and forth between each high school. And it's so neat to see teachers taking that initiative, taking that risk, and doing something different for our kids. There's also the 3D printers that I mentioned, and the collaboration stations that all of our kids and teachers are becoming excited about and being involved with. We also have student voice in the learning spaces. The space out here was designed by East students. Some of them have already graduated, but came back when it was unveiled. So we're trying to really tune into how our kids want to learn and the conditions that they want to learn in, and we're embracing that. At this time, I'd like to introduce Grace Fair, a senior at Lakota East, and Laura Brose, a freshman at Lakota West, who both played a role in creating learning spaces at their schools. Ladies?
We're going to steal the mic because we're a little bit talkative. Hello, like Mr. Miller said, my name is Grace Fair, and I'm a senior at Lakota East High School.
And hi, my name is Laura Brose, and I'm a freshman at Lakota West High School.
And tonight we're going to be talking all about innovative learning spaces.
So, it's your story.
Yeah. So my story began last year when I joined a group called Student Advisory Council. I remember getting tapped on the shoulder by my mom, and she said, "Hey, I saw this really cool application on Twitter and you need to sign up for it." But I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It was a brand new group at school that really didn't have an outline, but it was amazing to see how it developed throughout the school year. It was a group of 30 to 40 students that were selected by Mrs. Davis, and together we collaborated with her and other administrators on all different types of projects. We came together and worked on things like testing schedules or learning spaces, and any type of passion project that we thought we could pursue and turn into a reality. So during our last meeting of the year, last year, we all came up to room 200, just back there, and we sat down and Mrs. Davis said, "Okay, I want you to picture in your mind the perfect and ideal learning space that you feel like you will be the most successful in. It doesn't matter where it is or how many resources you have. I just want you to take 5 minutes, and I want you to get into a group of several other students, and I want you to just run wild with it. Whatever you can imagine, I want you to put it down on a piece of paper, draw it out, and in a few minutes we're going to regroup." So we were amazed. We had no idea where this is going, but we all sat down, and with our colorful expo markers, we started drawing, and it was amazing to see all the different ideas that came to life. And at the end, we all stood up, and some kids chose to redo classrooms, and other people chose to turn our library into an innovation hub, but our group was really crazy, and we chose to wipe out an entire locker bay and to put spaces and furniture in there so that students can work both individually and collaboratively on all different projects. So when the meeting ended, we really had, like I said, no idea where this is going, but after school had let out, we got a text message from Ms. Davis on our group chat, and it was just a picture of all the lockers taken out. And you have no idea how amazing it felt to get that message below it that said, "Your voice was heard, and look at the change that you made." And within a couple weeks, as you can see, all the furniture was put in there. Other students came to celebrate, and what we had drawn came to life. And I know after talking with Laura, it's really amazing to see how this wasn't just a space that students came to have a snack before their bell change or to just do their homework. It's a space that students have really turned into pursuing their passion projects. Like, clubs are coming in before and after school to meet and discuss ideas, or you'll see kids playing music or collaborating or playing games or all different types of things. And it's really empowering to see that students are pursuing their dreams.
So my story started off in a classroom, and in our English class we were doing a project called an expert project. And my question that I chose to do was, what environmental factors improve student learning? So I started off just by researching like colors and how they affected our brain, the stress on students, like the furniture that we need to feel comfortable, and all that kind of stuff. While that was happening, my English teacher was in the Lakota Next group, and they were talking about innovation hubs, which all Lakota schools are going to get. But mine was a little different because we're the oldest. Lakota West Freshman Building is the oldest school in the Lakota district. So I think they were just being nice and gave us a little fun. So that's where I came in, and they asked me if I would love to have a part of it. And I said, of course. So after that, I started researching more colors and what they were going to do to the students. And I came up with the colors green and blue. And many people are asking me, why don't you do red and black, like Lakota West? Well, those are really hard on your brain, but green is natural, and it soothes you and it relaxes you, while blue provides you with energy, but it also makes you think outside of the box. So just those two colors and how they affected the brain, I thought would be a perfect match for something called an innovation hub. So after that, after I researched everything, I made a presentation and I presented to a few board members, some staff members from my school, principals, and they gave me the green light, and we went. I made applications and sent it out to, the whole freshman class, and we ended up getting about 25 volunteers, and we were scheduled to paint this over break. So exams made our last day of school be shortened, and the 25 or so, a little less, kids stayed and helped us prepare to paint. And we spent that day and the next 2 days listening to Christmas music and painting our innovation hub. So now, after all the kids came in on winter break to receive their one-on-one devices, you could just tell that they were excited to be able to have a space now, like Grace was saying, to be able to collaborate, to be able to make their own ideas, to have a passion of some sort and be able to have a place to do it.
So yeah, and then one last thing after hearing Laura's story and kind of talking about both of ours, how far that the schools have come with all of these concepts, is that it's really kind of been the first tangible source of student voice, which is a really big movement that has really started to snowball throughout our schools. And whether it's designing a learning space or, as we've both mentioned multiple times, working on passion projects, these are outlets that our students are becoming more prepared and more ready to graduate and go into the real world, because we're not just working on that standard out of the textbook stuff. We're diving into what makes us unique in us. And so we both want to just say thank you, Mr. Miller, for having us. It was an honor to speak in front of all of you, and we hope you have a good night.
Thank you both. That was great. I mentioned before about a lot of times school districts get caught up in just making sure that our kids get a diploma. Certainly that's important for us too, but we're also embracing something we call the 4 E's, and that talks about what's next after they cross that stage for graduation. So our 4 E's are enrollment, employment, enlistment, or entrepreneurship. We want every one of our graduates to have the idea of what they want to do next. So employment right after high school, or enrollment right into college right after high school, or some sort of post-secondary. Entrepreneurship. We have kids that are right now trying to create businesses while they're still in school. And also enlistment. We're huge supporters of our military, and I'll talk about that in just a second. We also have great partnership with Butler Tech, but we're looking at things outside of the box for our kids that we want our kids to be able to tap into. We might not have a course for it yet, but we might be able to build things for our students, and those are the things that we're talking about. You heard tonight from one of our career readiness students. We have 26 students already this year that have graduated from Cray. We couldn't be more prouder for those kids that have those types of needs that we're able to provide for them through their course of time here at Lakota. Also, going back to the military pride that we have, last year we had 54 students go to the military, whether it was just through one of the branches or through one of the academies, and we held our first ever military commitment ceremony. We're going to do that again this year that I'd like to invite everybody to. On April 30th at East Freshman, we'll have our second annual ceremony for those students that are going into the military. One of the big key components of our school district, and it hit our strategic plan pretty well, was being fiscally responsible. We've operated with a balanced budget for over 6 years. Our financial outlook is and will continue to be strong thanks to our treasurer and CFO, Jenny Logan, and her team. For the 5th consecutive year, and I know of no other public school district in the state of Ohio that has done this, we have earned the Auditor of State Award with distinction, which means we're transparent, we're spending our taxpayers' dollars wisely, and we're using it for the things that it should be used for. In fact, the state auditor is coming tomorrow, I believe, to present the district with another award. We also put out in our communication pieces the financial prospectus. You're going to get the next installment of that coming up this April. We have a finance committee that we work with that's made up of business partners and business leaders in our community, and we're still pushing that group forward when we're making decisions financially for our community about our school district K through 12. We also have smarter spending and reallocation of dollars. So when you see the Chromebooks and you see the 3D printers and the innovation learning spaces, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's going on top of everything else we're spending. Not exactly. We're reallocating dollars that we were using for different things for our kids. There's so much more that we can do now with digital resources that we couldn't do before and had to buy things. And so we're just repurposing or trying to repurpose our dollars now. To that point, tonight we have a 5th grader with one of the coolest names ever. His name is Sam Dragon, and Sam's a 5th grader at Endeavor, and he's going to talk about being fiscally responsible in the context of how we were able to bring back daily specials and what impact that made on him and his education. Sam, come on up.
Hi, my name is Sam Dragon, and I am a 5th grade student at Endeavor Elementary. There are a lot of great things going on at Lakota and at Endeavor. These things include Culture Day, quarterly incentive trips, the hands-on learning and cool projects we do, our new learning nooks, or even the time my principals got slimed when we raised over $20,000 to build a new playground. But I'm not here to talk about those things. I'm here to talk about why having specials classes every day is important to me and has made this year even better. I love having specials every day. I think that if we didn't, we would get tired of being in the classroom and doing the same thing every day. It breaks up the day to leave the room for specials. I don't have to sit so much. We learn so much in specials, and now we get one every day. I love gym. In gym, kids need gym because they need to get out of their seats and move. We learn lots of different sports. I learned hockey and volleyball. I learned a better way to shoot a basketball and I'm getting better at layups. I learned the right way to throw a dodgeball. In gym, I get to play with and against my friends. I think doing these activities wakes my brain up for the rest of the day. I love art. Having art all year is awesome. We get to make holiday-themed items all year and presents for family. One of my favorite things is the clay project we are doing. I released my creativity because the art teacher said we could make it any height or width we wanted. I made a bowl and now I get to paint it however I want it. I love music. In music, one of my favorite things to do is play the bucket drums to popular songs like Believer. It is cool knowing to play something that is popular. I like music because it kind of makes you use a different part of your brain than when you are adding or reading. I love, okay, maybe just like technology. In tech, every day we get to check our grades and hack, and we can write down missing assignments we need to work on. This helps me because before, I didn't know what assignments I was missing. We also create 3D models and houses and things like that. We are learning how to type, and I think this is something I will use a lot. I love STEAM. Recently in STEAM, we programmed ED3s, which are Lego robots. We used the program to move the robots around the room. Most classes, when we come in, there is a question that we have to answer during the class. The questions are very interesting and make you use a part of your brain you don't use in regular classes. Even though I don't love health, I think it is important. We have been doing gym packets in health so people can know if they need to exercise more. I think this can help students be more active. I also enjoyed learning about the different parts of the brain. I thought it was interesting knowing how each part works and what it did. In short, having specials every morning gets you ready for the day and prepares you for later learning. Thank you to the Lakota District. This includes our school board, central office, Mr. Miller, and the community for helping bring these back. I am grateful, and I think they make all of us better. On behalf of the students, we are all grateful. Trust me, I'm a kid.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. One of the last tenets of our vision has been that we are in this together. And I'm hoping you've heard that, and you've heard me talk about it, but you've heard our students and certainly our staff mention that as well. We have community conversations on a regular basis. We had over 40 last year. We also do coffee chats. We do one of those a month. We have a program through Lodi called Community University at Miami VOA on a very regular basis. I think we have another one coming up, but you can check our website for that information. And then one of the things that the school board encouraged me to do is talk about Lakota having an open house at each one of our high schools. So this year, for the first time, East and West had an open house. And again, our administrators and staff hit it out of the park, where we opened up the doors for our community, for people that had younger kids coming through the system, or people that were just curious about all the buzz that's going on in our district. So I'm really proud of both East and West for pulling that off. We also have partnerships with our local businesses, and that's because we want to create more opportunities for those 1,300 internships for our students. Things like Lakota Cyber Academy, internships, and work study. We also believe in giving back to our community through philanthropic different resources and things for our students, our parents, and others in the Westchester and Liberty Township areas. Through Reach Out Lakota, we've helped them again with the food drive, but we have new resource pantries at all of our schools. A lot of that was keyed by Adina and some of our other schools, making those resource pantries for our students, not as a handout, but sort of a help when kids needed help or needed that little extra throughout the day. So we have those in all of our buildings now, and really appreciate our PTAs and our district parent council and Lodi helping us with that. We also have done Casual for a Cause, so essentially Gene Friday for our staff. And our staff since 2017 has raised over $45,000 for different community endeavors and nonprofits. So I couldn't be more prouder of them as well. Right now, I'm going to introduce two of our Plains Junior 8th graders, and they're going to talk about a program called Above the Line. Please welcome Reese Anzalone and Brendan Murphy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Reese. I'm Brendan. And we're here with the Above the Line group from Lakota Plains Junior. Tonight we're going to tell you about a classroom of 15 students who need a little bit of extra help. Brendan and I are two of their friends who help them every day. We use the Lakota equation E plus R equals O. Using this helps them succeed every day.
For Reese and I, we don't think twice about starting and ending our days. But for our friends, this can be a difficult task to work at and do every day. So in the morning, we help students unpack, take their coats off, and at the end of the day, help them pack their bags up and escort them to their buses. Each day, we spend about an hour supporting our friends with significant disabilities. Types of support we can give range from helping in therapy groups, encouraging gross motor activities in gym, practice academic skills, model good sportsmanship, and most of all, helping Miss Brochure plan parties.
I was invited to volunteer by one of my teachers at Plains Junior. One day, I was called out of my class to come meet these kids. I knew as soon as I met them and as soon as I was able to spend just a little bit of time with them that we would be a clique. After this brief moment in Miss Brochure's room and Miss Brady's room, that it would be the spot for me. When I volunteer in these classrooms, I feel a sense of pride, knowing the time I spend with these kids is very beneficial and meaningful in many ways. Whenever we work with the students, they are excited and look at us as friends and role models. I am sure that it is refreshing for them to get to work with the same age kids instead of just adults and teachers. Volunteering in this program also requires me to keep up my grades. This is no easy task since we are required to maintain at least a 3.8 GPA. Since I want to be in this program, it motivates me to do my best work.
This opportunity encourages the volunteers and the students to make connections in several ways. I've made a pretty special connection with one student in particular. His name is Henry, and he is an 8th grader also. Henry faces many challenges each day, but his biggest difficulty is communication because he is nonverbal. Henry uses a communication device to express his wants and needs. At first, I was worried it was going to be very hard to talk to him because he only is able to say the words yes, no, hungry, mom, dad, and cookie. However, once I understood more about his device and how to encourage him to use it every day, it has helped us both engage in some pretty good conversations. The knowledge I've gained about his communication needs has even molded the way I ask him questions and figure out what he wants or needs, especially lunch choices.
I have learned so many new things and gained many new experiences working with my new friends. I've learned that everyone can succeed. We as volunteers may succeed in our classworks or athletics, but these kids succeed just as much as we do. They do everything to their best ability. They try their hardest every single day, whether it's learning in school, getting exercise, or making new friends. To us, this may seem like a very easy task, but to them, it's very hard. These 15 kids also motivate us. There are some of the days that you may not want to go to work, or some of the days that I don't want to go to school. However, the hour I spend with them each day is what pushes me. Seeing them for this little portion of my day is what I look forward to the most. They are always so happy and positive. They are my friends I want to be around. I've learned so much from them that they are now my best friends.
The students in this class teach us just as much as we teach them every day, including respect, honesty, and patience. Thank you for having us. It's been our pleasure sharing a small part of a very large experience in our Above the Line volunteer program.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Thank you both a lot. When you're thinking about our events tonight, I want you to leave this auditorium, this room, this building with 3 thoughts. And then I want you to share those 3 thoughts tomorrow. And those 3 things are how awesome it was when our kids were doing the showcase with our teachers and everything that's going on in our district. The second thing I want you to remember and talk about are the kids that were on this stage and our staff members that were on this stage talking about the buzz that's going on in our district, where we're at now, where we're headed, what else we need to do, and what's coming next. And the third thing that I want you to talk about and reflect on is this next video. And this is our why as a school district. So I'm excited to premiere the first in our new video series. This is our why.
I was challenged to pick one kid out of the entire class
that inspired them to come to work every day. And I picked you.
And I picked you.
To me, it was pretty easy. I chose you for that student.
I chose you. And you're my person.
I picked you, my friend.
Guess who I chose? Me. Yeah. Isn't that great?
Me.
My man, what's going on, buddy?
I inspire you.
I love that you work so hard.
You motivate me, and you've reinvigorated me, and I have become a better teacher because of you.
I want you to know that you inspire me to be a better person every day, and even though I'm an adult, I look up to you.
That's what makes school special, huh?
And because you love coming to school, we love coming to school.
Do you ever give up?
Nope.
No. Do you give me a hug every morning?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you hug me before you get on the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what that makes Mrs. Gregory feel like? Makes me feel so special.
Even after 29 years, you make me want to come here every day. You make me want to try harder. You make me want to be a better teacher. Do you know why? Because you are so outstanding.
Let me tell you, Miss Sunshine, every single day you come in with a smile.
There's so many things about you that I just find so inspirational. And I learned so much from you 2 years ago, and I'm so happy to be your teacher again as an ESL teacher.
The greatest gift that you have given to me is the imprint that you have forever left in my heart.
And I love that you come in and you're always learning. And you have a great heart and you always try every day.
I appreciate you so incredibly much. And even when we have bad days in class, you were the reason that I come every day. So thank you.
Your attitude's contagious. Your peers respond to you very well. You make other people feel better about themselves.
And you have that big smile right there on your face and this spiffy outfit on. I just love it. Thanks.
I'm inspired by all your hard work and dedication on the cheer team and at school, and you just make me want to be a better teacher and a better coach.
I like when you tell me you're lucky to have me for your teacher, but the truth is, I'm so lucky to have you as a student.
I have been blessed to have the opportunity to work with you and watch you grow and mature into a young adult that you are today. Your perseverance through everything life has thrown at you leaves me in awe. As our paths take different roads, just know that what a profound impact you have had on my life.
You'll take whatever risks you need to. You care so much about bettering yourself as a person.
Because you are doing awesome this year. You're motivated, you're working your butt off, and I appreciate you.
I want to thank you all for inspiring me to teach my best every day and also have fun with it.
So what you've done for me, keep doing because it matters so much. It matters so much to your teachers. You have touched my heart, touched my soul.
So high five for being my inspiration to come to school every day.
I love you, buddy.
And I love you too. You are here for me just as much as I'm here for you.
I'm honored to be your teacher.
I'm honored to be your student.
I'm sure that impacted all of you like it impacted me, and I cannot follow that up. So I'm going to say good night. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. And remember those 3 things tonight and tell everybody the 3 things about our kids. Thank you so much.